Shut up and sit down.
Oh, welcome to Chick Chat Comedy Podcast. I am Patty Rossborough. I'm one of your hosts. I'm here with my fellow hostess, the beautiful and ball-busting Carrie Carabas is here today.
Thanks, Patty.
Of course. And we have two really fabulous, very sexy Italian men on the show today. Friends of mine from many years ago. Well, this one and this I haven't seen in a million years. All right, we're going to start off with Tommy Gooch is
Thank
here.
you. How are
Comedian
you?
Gooch
Tommy
is in the house.
Yes.
Gooch.
And he's wearing my favorite, show that to the camera, my favorite picture of Gooch.
Gooch when he
as
was
a kid.
You
with
know,
the-
and you look exactly the same except for the hair.
Well, I have bigger tits in this picture, actually. Can we see tits? It's too late to
Well,
ask.
I don't
Please,
know.
say whatever you want.
I don't know about that.
I like the pillow mark, actually. Like my mother, the crooked collar. There's a lot going on.
That was a school day picture.
I
I,
like
love it.
Kindergarten.
the
70s.
70s college. Were you born in the
That
70s?
was a you were
68.
kindergarten in that?
Kindergarten picture.
Jesus, you're looking
You're
at
a
a
big
seventh grader.
I know. I love when people go, what are you, 7, 8? No.
You're big.
Did you have a brother or sister?
I had two sisters.
Older?
Younger and twigs.
He
Younger.
ate them.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
ate them.
You mean
I ate them.
after you were born, your parents actually went on and had
Yeah,
more?
yeah.
And they're
That's,
so cute.
that's amazing.
If you see photographs of him when he was little, he's this little chubby kid, like little fat kid, and then his sisters are these two little beautiful
Yeah.
angels that are little skinny things.
I actually posted a picture last week. My mother still has my kindergarten picture, and my sisters from like a communion. And I'm like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
had to be
that's what I
adopted. I
Well,
said,
here's the thing. Back in the day,
back in the day.
the mothers would pass out and they would take the baby and switch it and give her
Ugh.
whatever. So you might not be, I would do a DNA.
No, I think we're good.
We
I am.
also, our other Italian
Yes.
on the show today is known in the business as
Goumba.
Goumba Johnny
Goumba
is here with
Johnny.
us. Also,
love the
a.k.a.
name.
Johnny How do I say your real name? Saliano?
Saliano.
Saliano.
You girls invite 2 Italians. You put out no food. You give us a bottle of water.
Can I just tell people who
Not
are
even a
watching? Can I
pretzel.
give people like an idea of what this booth is like?
Yes, go ahead.
If anybody watching there is a tennis fan and you watch Wimbledon, and you watch Bud Collins, and they're in that little booth, this is it, really. Did you ever see it? No one.
The extent
I don't watch
of our
Right, and they're like-
budget.
This is like really.
There's one person out there that got that joke. There's
No,
one, one tennis fan
Bud
watching
Collins'
right now.
wife, I guess.
But we are at the Comic Strip
Actually,
Live.
this
We want
is
to
about
thank them.
as
This
big
is
as my
fantastic.
apartment was in Manhattan when I had my apartment in Manhattan. It was just a little.
I literally slept in a closet on the Upper West Side. They didn't have another bedroom. They gave me a closet where my bed fit, and I put my clothes in a suitcase. I had no dresser or anything. It was just like a single bed.
$1,200 a month.
It was $350 a month, and I had no closet, no nothing. I didn't hang my clothes. Everything was folded in a suitcase.
Who
For a
was
year.
it? It was like a hostage situation.
For a
Who
year.
did that to you? And they were friends of yours?
Well, you want to know something? That girl and I, we did not get along, and I was so poor. I used to eat her food. Did I even say? And I pretended I didn't. And she'd go, "Who ate my lamb stew?" And like we're the only two living there, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. And she goes, "If you want to eat my lamb stew, just ask me." But like this girl and I, we hated it. We just didn't get along. And she was
I
talking
don't
to
I
me.
can't imagine you
No.
eating lamb stew the way I know you eat right now. When you're at a gig with her, she's eating. It's like nothing she's eating.
I can't.
Tea, you
I
know.
Extra
had that
lemon.
with a roommate in college.
What? Where
He-
they would
he-
eat your food?
He would eat my food, and I would say, "Why did you eat my food?" And he'd look at me and he goes, I honestly, I didn't know it was yours. I said, "Who did you think it was? All you have to do is look at it and know it's not yours.
It's not yours.
Then put it down. Because, well, if I knew it was yours, I wouldn't eat it." I said, "I'm going to
Liar.
tell you what. You'll never graduate if you eat my food again. I guarantee
See, that's
you."
what happens when you cross Goomba.
No,
No.
any Italian would.
Right.
That's
well,
true.
here's the thing. I had a roommate as well, and that she was like, "Who ate my apple? Who ate my?" So I wasn't like that, and I was like, you know what? I put a black tape line down the refrigerator middle, and I wrote, "Do not touch the fucking
You
food."
did?
Yes, on this side, and then all my friends were like, "Can I go on the left, eat on the left," because she would freak out, and I didn't give a fuck who ate my food.
I know,
Eat
that
whatever
seems-
you want.
You're very generous. Well, you know, Carrie used to cater the event when we were in Queens.
Yes, I did.
But there's no room for it, and it would stink up the place with all the food. But I'm telling you, Carrie used to do a spread back when she owned the restaurant. She doesn't own the restaurant anymore.
You know, we could kind of bring some sushi, right? That's not going to stink up the room.
That would be a little stinky.
There's no room.
We're here with Adam Hineker, is our sound
From the
Hineker.
rec room.
from the rec room. Our tech.
Adam's got
man.
great hair. I hate his guts. It's just beautiful. It's like
He
Ricky
really is.
Ricardo kind of going
yeah,
on.
You do. You
It's
look
really
very
like it's
cute.
like
No, you look
David
like-
Schwimmer and Ricky Ricardo
so
had a kid.
beautiful.
Like,
It's
beautiful.
better than that.
It's
It's
big.
boy band.
It
boy-
is
yeah,
boy
yeah.
band.
Yeah.
It's boy band hair.
Yeah.
You got boy band hair.
And look at how old do you think Adam is? Take a-
21.
12.
I have no idea.
Take a guess. Take a guess
21?
as a man.
42.
See, you're closer. He's like late 30s, but to me, he looks like he's 25. I always thought he
Yeah,
was
it
like
looks like
24.
he could be my kid.
Yeah, I think he looks young.
I have a question for Goumba Johnny. What now? You're very skinny. How you just work out all the fucking time? What's the deal with you?
No, I mean, I go to the gym every other day.
Every other
Every
day?
other day. That's all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah, like I'll do 15 days a month every other day.
And how much
That's my
time do you
schedule.
spend? I want to see how someone.
I start. Well, I mean, I've always been a gym rat. I mean,
too.
you know that. I was bigger.
Yeah, you always were cut up. You had a nice body.
I was, you know.
You
I,
still get the good body.
I,
does,
I
he
was.
does.
I
And-
was when I got out of college, I was 260, 265. And
cut
then,
up, though. Muscle.
Yeah, and then I kind of weaned down to 240. I stayed there for years. And then for the longest time, I stayed at 225. And then I got in an accident in the Bahamas, a scooter accident. And I got hurt really bad. I collapsed my lung.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, I
Oh,
collapsed
my
my
God.
lung and broke 5 ribs.
Oh, God.
And that's when my weight went down to like 200 because they gave me pain pills. And I never took pain pills before.
Like opioids? Like.
Percocet.
Oh, okay.
So the doctor said I lived by myself. Doctor said, look, he goes, you'll never be able to do anything. You have to take these. You're going to be taking 4 to 8 a day just to put your underwear on. You can't move. He goes, you live by yourself. He goes, this is the way it is.
Right.
So, you know, you got to move around. You can't lay in bed.
Before you were married.
Yes. And my sister came over and bought me a tray of pasta. I'll never forget. It was. It was rigatoni bolognese. She goes, here, this will be good for you for a couple of days, because I couldn't do anything. So I ate like I normally do, not knowing that on painkillers you get constipated.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
then
right.
I went to the toilet and I had like a meeting with God.
A meatball come at
I
him.
had a meeting with God, and then after that, while I was sick, I started eating extremely small portions, and I lost the weight, and it kind of stayed off.
Oh, wow.
So when you have a collapsed lung, it just recollapses? I mean,
Well, what they do is
fix itself?
I did it. It's very odd because I got hurt in Nassau. I don't know if you ever got hurt overseas. You think the worst hospital here is like.
They get all the medicine wrong. You don't bring your medicine with you to.
So what happened?
you
Well,
know.
what they do is no anesthesia or nothing. They jam a tube into the side of you to drain the lung.
What the fuck?
All right, and they drain the lung. And here's the weird part: they were draining the lung. Draining the lung. The blood was coming out, and it was going into an empty milk bottle. That was the quality of the hospital. And
Was the tube clean?
your tube was clean. And then
It's
it was
scary.
one ward. It was me, children, pregnant women. It was only like
Flies.
it was only like no flies. It was only like 20 beds. So I was on a radio station promotion. So after like 3 days, the radio station was like, they were afraid I was gonna.
Oh, this was part of your radio job to go down there?
Well, I was broadcasting live from Nassau.
Oh, my God.
So the radio said, we can't. He might die. You know what I mean?
get him out of
That's really not good publicity. They didn't care about me. You know, Goumba Johnny dies.
Your family will sue them.
So anyway, make a long story short, they flew me by jet, and the jet couldn't go very high above the water because of the air pressure, to the Jackson Trauma Center in Miami, which does all the Caribbean and Puerto Rican. It's fabulous. It's one of the best things in the world. So they sent me there, and I stayed in Miami hospital for a couple of days. And I used to do a joke in my act. It was funny. I said, I waited my whole life to be on a private jet, and there I am lying naked on a board with my brother-in-law. I said, they fly me into Miami. And at the time, I was doing a lot of work with the city of Miami. So the Board of Tourism sent over to Miami Heat cheerleaders. Meanwhile, I didn't take a shower in 5 days. I got dried blood all over me. And they're going, oh, would you like to take a picture? And I'm like, get out. Get out of my room.
I have one lung, you mother effers.
So, I mean, it was, it was a great experience. I mean, in retrospect.
Yeah, it does make you kind of want to kiss the ground.
It really makes you have no idea. People go on vacations and they take chances. And you don't understand what happens if you get hurt. It is not like.
I swear I've heard stories like that.
Yeah,
People that went overseas and got sick. I swear. I'm not being all serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm worried about what.
And they tell you that it wasn't like just going to the hospital where you live. Yeah, you're scared. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to be a daredevil, and I'm talking about four-wheeling this and that, and you want to take extra chances,
But now I think I just did the 11-day cruise to the Eastern Caribbean, and I think Barbados is building like these state-of-the-art hospitals there.
I hope so.
I
mean, I hope everybody gets
better.
Hope everybody gets proper
The
care.
time that I went to Aruba, that was when they gave me I went to get the painkillers because I forgot to bring them with me for my neck because I have a neck injury. So when you fly, your neck, and they gave me. I went to the place. They said I had to call my doctor. They sent the prescription. Blah blah blah. I go to pick it up. It's supposed to be pills.
Yeah.
It's a tube. There's like a cream in a tube. I'm like, where are the pills? And the guy goes, oh yeah, that's a mistake. I'm like, mistake? What are you? They're making mistakes and giving me.
Where's my pills?
So he goes, okay, I'll get you other pills. And then he hands me these pills. And I'm like, what are these pills? These don't look like the pills that I take. And he goes, it's similar. It's like that. You take it or you could cut it in half. Whatever you want to do.
You
and
could
I'm like,
sell it.
And I did not fucking take. I was so afraid. I thought, I don't know what this is going to do to me.
Right. Acid.
Right. Who knows if I'm going to wake up after I forget it. I'm afraid.
You know what I do? You know what I do when I'm uncertain? I'll say to my husband, just eat it and let's see what happens to you. And then if he's okay, I'll take it.
I like that
I
idea.
believe every bit of that story, too. I know you how long? 30 years?
If I'm unsure of food, I'm like, just have it, eat it.
I know that both of you 30 years.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I
was always a fan of yours, Patty. I have to say this. I've always and you too, Carrie. But I see.
That's like
No, because
You're funny too. You were good too.
No, because she was a real huge part of Shooting Stars and a whole bunch of my friends back in the when we were back in Yonkers.
That club. Oh, it was
so
fun and so wild. That
yeah.
club.
Well, we could
Holy
tell
shit.
stories about that club. But I've always was a big fan of Patty's. Well, the most legendary story, I don't mean to do all the talking, but at Shooting Stars was really Darrell Hammond.
Oh, yeah.
This is a legendary story, and Darrell Hammond was starting to do stand-up and breaking into Saturday Night Live. He wasn't headlining; he was featuring. And the club was very rough. It was a combination of Bronx Yonkers kids.
Yeah.
And
they'd heckle.
yeah, they got heckled.
Wait, let me sum it up. I would be on stage hosting, and I'd hear, motherfucker, I'd pop a cap in your ass. And I'm like, wait a minute, nobody's popping anybody's cap in anybody's ass, because you're going to miss his ass and hit mine. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was. So anyway, you're 100% right. Darrell's up on stage, and he's middling, and he's halfway through his act, and he starts to sweat. You know what I mean? He's doing his impressions. There's no there's no continuity. They don't have an attention span.
You're not getting it.
You're not getting it. And he goes, "Come on, guys, come on, give me a break." And some guy from the back yells out, "He's wounded! Let's get him!" And he just left the stage.
It's
Where was this? Shooting Star?
Oh, yeah.
Am I
Yonkers. It was
that
so
much
bad.
younger than
you
that?
are that much younger.
Yeah.
First of all, the club was owned by mob guys.
Yeah.
So they were like, they didn't take no shit. I'll never forget this. They hired Butch Patrick for the Munsters.
Yes.
Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The little
Eddie.
guy to come and perform for 15 minutes. They were giving him $1,500.
Yeah.
And Butch Patrick comes, and he's dressed like the outfit with the face, the white face, and he's wearing the.
Just like Eddie.
Yeah.
He's dressed like Eddie as a grown fucking man, and he's got the woof woof doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to do 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He does 3 minutes because he's going, okay, everybody. He goes, what is it that you want to know about me? I'm Butch Patrick from the Munsters. I was known as Eddie, and he's holding the doll, and these are
he's
these are hardcore
he
Bronx.
alive?
Yeah.
These are hardcore Bronx kids,
Yeah.
and they go, yeah, did you fuck Marilyn? And he's like, oh, that's funny. No, she was beautiful, but no, I didn't. And then he's like, anybody else have a question? And then they go, yeah, did you fuck Lily? No. And then, did you fuck? Who'd you fuck? And then he's like, well, I was only 8, So now.
No, you left out the, did you fuck Herman?
Yeah, now
was
they
his grandpa.
asked him if they fucked everybody. Nobody had a question for him because nobody knew the show.
Right.
So now they're wailing fruit at him from the drinks.
Yeah.
So he gets off stage. Now I just introduced him. I went to the bar inside the other room, and all of a sudden they're like, I'm hearing commotion. I mean, I just walked into the bar and he's already off the stage. So now I go run back up there, and I bring the next act up, and I come off, and he goes, I have to get paid. So I go, all right, hold on a minute. I go up to the Eddie. I go, Eddie, listen, this fucking guy wants to get paid. And he goes, tell this guy's got to wait. So now they're waiting. They go, we're going to pay him. He was only up there 3 minutes. We're going to pay him $500. So I walk over to him. I go, listen, they're going to pay you $500. He's like, no. The contract says $1,500. I'm getting $1,500. I go, the contract also says 15 minutes, and you did 2. So you're going to get paid $500. He goes, no. So I go back over there, and I go, Eddie, this fucking prick is bucking. He's like, no. And he goes, all right, tell him over there. He goes, if he wants the money, or he's going to die, or he's going to get nothing. So I walk up to him. I go, listen, they're going to beat you so bad. They're going to beat you with the Woof Woof doll. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Take the $500 and get the fuck out of here, because these guys are not fucking around. They're going to beat the shit out of you, and they're going to beat the shit out of you now.
It's a true story. That's the worst part.
So I go, I'm telling you because I'm trying to save your life right now. So you can take it, or you can get the beating. They're going to shove the doll up your ass. So now he goes, all right, I'll get the money. They give him the $500. He fucking bails out. All of a sudden, he comes back 15 minutes later. He's like, could somebody push my car so it could start? That's how fucking broke this asshole was.
Yeah.
The poor guy. That club, you know what I loved about that club? That is the first club where I learned how to handle a heckler, because they literally would not stop
I
heckling.
could tell you exactly what you said.
What did I say?
I was there.
What? Really? What
Yes,
did I tell me?
this is when I fell in love with your act. Some guy was trying to rip you a new
That's
asshole.
right.
And you said, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's always the guy whose dick who couldn't break a Cheerio.
Oh, good fucking Cheerio and not break.
Fucking
Yeah,
Cheerio
yeah.
and not break.
That's an old,
Yes.
that is an old stock line, but
But
I
you
can't
said
tell
it.
you how many times I fucking
Yeah.
had to use that
Yeah.
in that room. And then the guy wouldn't stop. This guy, and he's the guy who looked like Liza Minnelli.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, "Look, you little fat fucking Liza Minnelli lookalike. Fuck you." And I'm like, and I'm wasn't even like that then. I was very shy. But I snapped.
And the crowd loved it.
And the crowd was going with me, and they're like, yeah. And then they're like, boo. I'm going,
Let me tell you something. I had a guy one night at Shooting Stars. I was always the MC hosting all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm up there, and all of a sudden he starts heckling me. You suck. You cunt. And I go,
All right, so we can curse. All right, so anyway.
So
I was going to ask, but
he calls me a cunt, and I go, is that any way to talk about your mother? Look, this guy's calling his mother a cunt in front of all these people. He gets up and charges the stage. I pick up the back of the
I cannot. Karen
because
will fight.
the security was nowhere to be found
There's
because
no
they were.
security.
So I pick up the back of the mic stand. You know that round piece
Yeah.
is like a metal. And as he's coming towards me, I was gonna whack his head right off with it. And the guy in the front row, this big muscle bike guy, grabs the back of his shirt and wails him on the floor. And he goes, "Yeah, relax." And I go, "Security, Eddie! Fucking Frank, where is he?" So they come running in and they pull him out. And as they're pulling him out, he's like, so I go, put him up, come back and fight like a man,
Cowardly
put him up. And I was afraid that he was gonna be waiting for me outside. But you know what? I had all the Goombas with me.
Yeah, they'll protect you.
They were protected.
did you ever do a gig where you were worried about your life after a show?
But I will tell you, one of the funniest things that ever happened to me on stage was at the brokerage. It was me and Vic DiBenedetto, and I was on stage.
Perfectly, you did his last
You
name
said it
perfect. But anyway, yeah.
What's wrong? Is that right?
DiBenedetto.
Butchered like you can't imagine. But anyway.
DiBenedetto.
Deep
Oh,
potato.
for 2. Keep going.
Leave
We
it
know.
He's
yeah.
lucky I even mentioned it.
Yeah, I know.
So now we're working, and I'm on stage, and this woman's cell phone goes off. So this other woman goes, "Shut your phone off." So another woman goes, "Shut your mouth." Okay? They start fighting.
Fist fighting?
Yeah. One woman threw a glass and hit the other woman in the head and gave her a gash. Now the husbands are fighting. I jump off stage to break it up, and it's really out of hand. Vic runs on stage, grabs the microphone, and starts singing "God Bless America." All 200 people are singing "God Bless America." And I'm breaking up the fight, and I'm like, "Vic, what are you doing?" And I'm like, and the
Like
cop.
that happened like in Raging Bull. They did that. Remember in Raging Bull? There was like pandemonium in the ring, and the guy goes put on the national anthem, and they're like, "Oh, say."
Oh my God! I didn't know that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Cops came, and the woman got arrested.
Oh my
Who
God!
threw the first?
Who threw the glass? Who gave her stitches? The woman actually got arrested.
Oh my God!
And that was the most bizarre incident.
I actually had that happen once at the Ronkonkoma Comedy Club out east. All the comedians were making fun of this one girl because she was, I don't know what the fuck she was doing.
Was she in the audience?
Yeah, the whole table was like her family, and they were loud, and every comedian went up and badgered her. So I bring up George Gallo, and she got that, and he goes, "Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck down, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck down." Right? So he really,
George is crazy.
he didn't really say anything bad, but I see the boyfriend get up, or the brother. He goes, "That's it." He dives as he gets up. George has no idea that this girl has been getting badgered. I was the host. I start running. Now he's filming his set. I run. I'm the first one on stage to stop the fight. I'm like, where are all the fuck comedians?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling him off of him, and all of a sudden Gallo's on the floor, and all of a sudden you see his hand from the camera come up. He grabs the mic and he's like, but he's doing all these sound effects, and it's we rewound this video because I really pulled this guy off. I jumped up
Carrie,
first,
I
but
don't
then
know why
everybody started coming up. But it
Carrie
was
is almost like a man. Did you ever have a problem where you thought you were going to get killed or anything?
As you guys were talking, I'm like, did I ever have a horror? My worst story, and this is the truth. I could speed it up. I did an engagement
You don't have
party.
to speed it up.
No, I did an engagement party, which could be hard or it could be unbelievable if it's cozy. Couples.
Is it men and it's men and
men
women?
and women, but a couple of kids, but they were little baby kids. So it was one of those things where you're dragging on. You're like, oh, they're giving the food. We got to get up there. Now you've seen me. I'm up there. I'm making some jokes, and two little kids would walk in front of me. A little boy walks in front of me, and I said, and on my life, I went, "Get out of here, you little son of a bitch!" And the kid, like you would have did. You would have went like, "Get out of here! You just want to get him out." Everyone, ha ha. The kid starts crying, goes into like he got circumcised, like it was
he
horrible.
got scared. He scared the shit out of
So
him.
what?
You
So
were
now if you're the
making a
parent, you go
joke.
like, "Oh, the comedian was joke." The father is drunk. The father was like Dean Martin. He was polluted.
Wants to kill you.
Wants to kill me. He wanted to kill my mother, my father. I get off. I kind of.
Well, that might have been the alcohol talk.
Yes, I kind of pedaled through it. So I'm like, figuring, all right, we're out of here. It was kind of sucked. They're walking me through the kids. They're like, "You got to get out of here. Give me your keys. The father's going to kill you." I'm actually driving away.
Are they Italian?
It was like, what do you think? They were. I'm driving. It was like a scene from a movie. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and the guy's like this. You can see they're holding him back. I'm like, I don't believe this, and I'm getting on the Bell
He's
Parkway.
chasing my car.
Yeah. Now this was about 4 years ago. I just want to tell you something. Not that I'm this big mature comic now. Now, I probably would say, "Is he mad at me? Bring him on. I don't give a shit now." Because like you get a little bit
What
more.
do you mean?
burnt.
Like you want to fight him?
No, now you got a problem with what I did. Now you get more burnt out as you do it in this business. This was 4 years ago. I was like, she wanted to get home. Now I'd be like, tell me what was wrong. Your kid was running in front of me. I have to entertain you. I was playing a joke. I'm like, get out of here. I didn't kick him. I didn't touch him. It was nothing that none of us would have done in a different way.
I
Right.
think people are more angry now. Like you would not. We don't take any more shit.
Well,
Well,
what you've been
You
doing
get a
it a
little,
long
bit,
time.
you get a little
Sometimes you
bit more
have to.
burnt out. You get like now you're like, screw you. I mean that's what now if that happened, I'd be like, what? You got a problem with that?
I did a gig out in Howard Beach, and I can't mention any names, but
Please.
I will say this: they hired me. It was a very well-paying job. It was a birthday party.
Cash.
It was a birthday party.
Was it in a suitcase in a valise?
No.
The money.
So, you go in. You guys have been comedians for a long time, and when you go into a room or a party or whatever, and you look at it, and you're saying, "Oh God, I'm going to sweat my balls off."
That's right.
tonight."
You know.
You just
You know.
know it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've been around the block too much.
Yeah.
And so I went in the room. I looked around. I said, "Oh God, I wish I didn't take this one. It's too late now." All right. So anyway, so you get up there. I got the microphone, and they had a DJ, and he introduces me. There's about 60 people in a private room, and the guy who hired me is in the back, just sitting there, arms folded. So I start doing my act and getting a couple of laughs, and his brother-in-law started heckling me.
Oh no.
I mean, really heckling me. He was sitting like in the front. I didn't say anything, and I just did my act.
That's the problem with the private. You can't really go after them.
No. So I just kind of ignored it, and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. So a couple of minutes later, two guys get up, and they take him. They said, "We want to talk to you." And his brother-in-law sent the two guys. They took him outside. They brought him back. About 5 minutes later, with a broken nose.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he had a napkin on his face.
They beat the shit out.
They bleeded.
All right, your story's better than mine.
No. And now he's sitting there, quiet, in the chair, and I'm watching him bleed into this handkerchief.
Hating you.
And I'm like this. I'm saying to myself, and I'm telling the jokes, and in the back of my mind, I'm saying to myself, I wouldn't mind if I didn't get paid. You know what I mean? I could write this off as charity. I just got to get out of here.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Well, I worked Howard
got one
Beach.
after you.
I worked Howard Beach and a club called My Way. Do you remember that place?
I remember hearing of it. I never performed there.
It was like mob owned, whatever. It was it was a beautiful restaurant. So I get there and they go, okay, don't make fun of that table, that table, that table, that table, or that table.
It was like one person left.
And I go, okay. And I made fun of every table.
Good for you.
And at the end of the night, the guys go to me, come here, sweetheart. Come here, sweetie. This girl is hilarious. Sit on my lap. I sat on his lap. He's like, oh, my God. I'm like, I love you guys.
You know what? When you're cute and sexy like you with your midriffs, you can get away with it.
No.
I did that. You did Mr. Rips, right? Mr. Rips?
I know the name.
It was out in the middle of fucking nowhere. There was like fields and everything else.
In Jersey or in Long Island?
Probably. No, in New Jersey.
You did Betty's Fireside?
I did Betty's Fireside.
gosh.
But this one is this was the most dangerous because I got run off the road by a guy after a show because he had fucked with me in the show, and I did the old Eddie Murphy.
I'm sorry to laugh.
I stole Eddie Murphy's thing, like, oh, you want to do the joke? You go up on stage, and I'm off stage, and I'm just heckling him, but he doesn't have a microphone. I'm like, you suck, and everyone's like going, yeah, you suck, and I'm going, I just picked out every ugly thing about his body, and everyone's joining in, and then I do the na 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 na, and they're all like, hey, bye bye, and he fucking slinks back down to his chair, and I'm like, yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it? And I'm like, that's why I get a check, and you pay one, yeah. I go outside, and there's four of them, and they're standing there watching me as I go to my car, and I'm with the two other comics. I don't remember if I'm driving. I think some other comics are driving. There's three of us, and I don't remember who I was with. And they're just standing there watching me, and the person with me, the comic's going, just go, fast, let's get to the car. Get to the car. And they're not saying anything, but they're going, that's her, whatever. We get in the car, and I'm not thinking anything, but the guy driving is like, they're behind us. You see the lights, and they're putting the
It might have been
flashes on.
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has some backward ass. I got
This was
followed too.
And the lights are flared. They're flashing at us, and all of a sudden they pull up to the car and they start pushing into the car. Our car
Oh, my God.
is going sideways down the whatever you call it, like a
Embankment.
ditch. Yeah, but he's like going, and then then they do it again, and they come back and they hit us like to the side a little bit again, and then they just go and screech up. But it's scared. I thought they were going to kill me.
I had that happen to me. I was coming home from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's got a lot of yahoos.
The two cars in front of me was a truck, and I could see the shotgun hanging in that little window.
Yeah.
And there was a little white car, and my brother had just gotten me a V8 engine Jeep Cherokee.
Nice.
So all of a sudden, we're on 78, and it's like 27 miles to the next exit. No lights. They both start slowing down, and I'm like, what the fuck? And now we're almost coming to a stop, and I'm like, these guys are going to fucking rape and kill me. So I'm by myself, no cell phones at the time.
That's so scary.
So as they go like this, I somehow squished in between the white car and him, and I gun it. I'm doing the needle was all the way down, and this fucking truck was behind me for like 29 miles. And as as I'm doing 100 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour, he kept getting less and less. But he stayed with me.
Carrie, that is really
You would think
scary.
you would think a cop would pull you over. The one time you want a cop to pull you over.
But I wasn't going down. I would have crashed my car.
wasn't going
I would have
down.
had my car on top of me over them on top of me. That's how it was going to go down. I was ready to crash into that little car and push it off the fucking road because I was not going to die with.
That's
these
amazing that
backward
you. That had to be very scary.
It was. My foot, you know, when you're scared, my
Yeah,
foot
yeah,
was
yeah.
shaking on
Yeah.
the pedal. But as soon as I got to like the next exit and there was more vehicles, I was zipping in and out of them. He was zipping in and out of them too. The white car was completely gone, but the pickup truck was on me for, I would say, about 5 exits, and they're like 20 miles an
Yeah,
exit.
no, I know.
And then I just lost him because I was going so fast he couldn't keep up.
The best part is when you get home and they go, "Hey, how was your gig?"
Great. Great. I almost got raped.
Does your husband, do your spouses do that? My wife does it every night, and
What? How was your gig?
and it gets taxing.
Kevin asks me I'm kind of glad he
show.
asks because
and then it's very loving. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that be like, "Oh, I wish my wife." Every night, and sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's just routine.
yeah.
No, it's a big
Sometimes-
problem in my house.
What?
Big problem. Because I used to work on the radio, and then
Yeah.
I would sometimes do 2 sets at night.
And what?
After the radio, and she'd go, "How was your show?" And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I don't want to talk.
I don't
Well,
wanna
my
talk
wife will
about
always
it.
be like,
She'll go,
like it'll never be like I'll always be like, they hated me, and she'll be like, "There's no way you bombed this." I'm like, I didn't say I bombed. I just feel like they weren't liking me or
Your
something
wife-
like that.
I always say that to shut him up. He'll go, "How was the show?" And he says it all the time. He's like, "How was the show?" And even if he misses me that night, the next day at dinner, he'll go, "How was your show last night?" I'm like, "They sucked."
yeah.
But I like that I'm asked.
They
because
suck.
I
No,
feel-
I do too. But sometimes, you
big,
know,
big problem in my
you
house.
can't. You have to elaborate. You know, like if it went really good, what would you say? Like you're walking into your bedroom, he's still sleeping. How'd it go? And you crush. What would you say? You go, it went really good.
No,
I go, I killed.
just go, "It was great."
You know
It was
what
great.
I
It
do?
went really good.
Great show.
I wake
Well,
him
They
up.
loved me. I usually say they loved me. I'm sorry.
No,
It's
go ahead.
It's your show.
No,
Why
no,
should I
go ahead.
speak?
I'm not interrupting.
No,
you.
I
I'm
would
talking
say
too
they
much.
loved me. In other words, that was it. I wouldn't say I killed it, but it's when it's like when I can't lie, because I really could just say it went really good. But sometimes it was all right. You do a city spot at Broadway, and there's 9 people from
Yeah, it sucks.
from Ethiopia,
Holland,
exactly, and
And they
you
don't know
walk
what
out.
they're
Don't speak
talking about.
English.
And she'd be like, "How'd it go?" And be like, "It was all right." No,
Why?
you full.
What
It's not
happened?
you, and you know what. Then there
Why?
are some
What
times
happened?
where you think it was bad, and then you wake up the next morning to an email, and the person says, "By the way, I just want to thank you, this or that." So, but anyway, okay, what were you saying?
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
How
yeah,
about
yeah.
when you
It's not
get
even
to a
important.
gig? I just did a gig at a country club in New
Mm-hmm.
Rochelle. Now, I didn't know New Rochelle was if you stop at a light, you'll get killed. So
I didn't know New
Well,
Rochelle. I
no,
thought
no,
it was
there's-
Scarsdale, New Rochelle.
I lived in New Rochelle for 12 years.
Oh,
there's,
God.
there's New Rochelle.
Anybody
There's,
listening?
there's 2 sides to the
All
coin.
right.
Okay, well, I got on the wrong side
Yeah,
of the coin.
yeah.
And then I get to the country club.
Right.
And, you know, the guy's like, "Oh, would you like something to eat?" And we were like, "No, no, no, no." And then after the show, he never even comes back to say, "Thank you, great job."
Yeah, you
Nothing.
can't read that. Like even
Nothing.
sometimes you.
Well, I don't
crush-
really give a fuck.
No, but sometimes there's no rhyme. We've all sold things from time to time. You think like, "Oh, this is great. They're gonna love me. I'm gonna sell 14 shirts." Show's over, and they're like, "Thanks a lot."
Yeah.
They won't give you eye contact. As
Nothing.
they're walking
And
out
you're
the door, you're like,
It's
oh.
incredible. You think like maybe you're gonna get a tip. They're like, "Here it is," and you're like, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason.
Well, this show I was working with Dan
Mind-boggling.
Wilson, and Dan Wilson's very clean. And the guy
crucial.
goes, "So, you know, the language." He goes, "Let's try to keep it down." I was like,
No way.
"What are you
was this just
No.
was
You
this
fuck
just this
yourself.
was this
Go fuck
Was
yourself.
it just this weekend?
Yes.
I saw the clip on Facebook where you say this. I took this box out for you or something like that. You do something like that.
What'd I say?
I
Is she pointing to her vagina?
No,
when she
yeah,
said
yeah.
box?
I took this out for you or something like that. I just saw
Did
that.
you do that?
I have a clip of that.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
on
it- it's on
Facebook, your clip.
Facebook.
I watched
And
it.
literally-
Do not have a clip.
Somebody
Not
put it
you,
up.
someone
Maybe
put it up.
Manny or something.
He's mixing it up with some of his porn. that he
No,
watches.
no. Maybe it was the stalker.
Hey,
Yeah.
now,
Wait a minute.
hold on a second.
Yeah, who's
I gotta
camera?
look because it's.
And you're like, I took this out for you, something like that.
Okay, Danny McKenna's watching. Hello. You remember Danny McKenna from Rascals?
Yes,
He's
I do.
saying hello. And now, wait a minute. This is Susan Jeremy said. Do you remember Phil Selman's Jersey Strip Club gig?
Oh,
Do you
Phil
remember
Selman.
that? Phil
I
Selman.
worked with Phil Summer
I don't
Hi,
see
recently.
a
Susan
clip
Jeremy.
of me anywhere.
I'll show
He
you.
I will
is
show you.
he is
I saw
so funny.
Phil Selman?
Off the wall. I'm like
He's
a huge,
out of his mind,
I'm like
right?
a huge fan of his.
Really?
Yeah, because he's out there. I like him.
He had some of the worst gigs, though. Let's be honest. The Phil Selman gigs. Come on.
Oh, they were horrible.
They were like in New Jersey. They were one-nighters. And that one was a strip club, but I can't
Every
remember.
time you saw Phil Selman, he always had a new
Hairdo.
plastic surgery done. He was either,
He had different hair.
facelift or
every picture he'd either have
He was
long hair parted
perfect
in the middle
with his cowboy
or it
boots.
would be a different.
Johnny, what were you saying? You said
Sorry.
it's worrisome. It's bad for you when you
my
come home.
wife, I would talk all day on the radio, then do 2 sets, and come home, and she goes, "How did it go? What was your day like?" And I said, "I don't."
I don't
let's,
want to
let's,
talk.
Let's wait until tomorrow. And she goes, what, you don't? Why won't you talk to me? Why don't you? I don't understand. If people knew what your real personality was like, you would never get hired.
Yeah.
You're a son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
People don't know what you like. I said, look, there's only so many words in a day. I used them all. I have nothing to say.
Oh, I gotta use
just
that.
want to go to bed.
yeah,
want
talked all fucking day.
I want to watch TV
Is
silently.
this the present wife or the first wife? This is your wife.
My first marriage only lasted 8 months.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
All right, so it's the, this
Yeah.
is the
I
second.
remember at Rascals. Wait a minute, can I just tell this?
I got it a note.
We were at Rascals, and he's just sitting there, and you look like you've been beaten up. I go, "What's going on with you?" You go, "My marriage just ended." I go, "Why?" He goes, "She didn't like the way I chewed my sandwich." I go,
You know, that could
I
send me
go,
over the deep end,
what?
too.
You go, "She told me she didn't like the way I ate food."
Good. I
No, it was worse than
understand
that. No,
is that
no.
my wrong? Is that what she said?
No, you're 100% right. But
I felt so bad.
what I was trying to say was, in a nutshell, at that
got
particular
great
time, and I didn't understand it, she didn't like anything about me.
you.
Why did she
Why'd you get
marry
married?
you?
It was really weird. The weird part is we had the marriage annulled through the church estate. It only lasted 8 months. So technically it never happened.
Oh, okay.
With the exception of the emotional scars, which
Did you have a big wedding, like the whole 100,
we
200
had
people?
a very we had a very well-to-do wedding.
Oh, that's so embarrassing when
yeah,
it ends.
and
Because you could have spent that money on a house or something, right?
yeah, but you know what? In retrospect, it was rough because she had the tact of an executioner, and if I saw her today, I've never seen her.
You're
since.
not friends or anything.
I've never seen her.
Did she ever get married, or?
She got remarried. I would shake her hand and thank her
For what?
because she did the right thing. And
What,
we-
to break it up? To
yeah,
say it's not
yeah,
working?
Yeah, we didn't waste any time. It was one clean
Somebody
cut.
hates the way you chew
We
your
didn't-
food.
I know,
Wow.
that's bit.
I mean that
You have
was
to
the
eat with
end.
them every night.
She goes. She didn't like anything
I know.
about me.
I know.
Didn't she know you before she married you? Like, how long
Did
did
she
you
watch you
date?
chew before?
yeah,
Did she
eh,
take
Went
her
to dinner?
18 months. I didn't eat all 18 months.
But weren't you on the radio then? Maybe she didn't see on that.
No,
morning radio.
I had all my greatest success after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
She
both
was
of
the
you-
anchor. She was the black
No,
cloud.
I really don't even know what happened to her. But I met my wife, and I actually met my wife at Governor's.
She was in the audience?
Really?
She was in the audience.
That's how
Hold
guys meet. Is that how you met your wife too, Tommy?
Yes, kind of. But my wife doesn't like anything about me too. But I'm still married 16 years.
But you have children?
I have one boy,
He's
5
one
years
kid.
old.
Now
Does
you
he look like the picture in
No,
your shirt?
his kid is
My kid's
adorable.
Kid is
and it's
so
my sperm
fucking
too,
cute.
which is fascinating. But it's no.
You
He's,
sure
the son's a
about that?
genetic mutation.
Yeah.
My daughter always goes, "Why
Molly,
is Tommy
yes.
Gooch's son so
she
cute?"
likes my picture on
He-
Instagram. I get such a kick out of that.
Oh,
yeah.
my
It
God.
skips a generation.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Karen.
No, that kid does look like he's a little.
No,
but
I
he's
am
a
very
little
lucky.
skinny thing. He's very
40 pounds. I'm like so good. He's 60 pounds
I
under
wanna
my
see
kindergarten weight.
him.
He's adorable.
Also, find that
Just go to
clip
his
of me.
Facebook page.
I will. I promise.
But you got married late in life. How old were you when you got married?
I'm
Was
not
it late?
that late. I'm
How old?
50 now. I'm married. I get 33, 34.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's
not
not that
late. I got
late.
married
Oh,
at
that's-
40.
I didn't say I
I got
got
married at 50.
Yeah, that's late in
right,
life. Okay,
yeah.
you got married.
Do you have
late in
children?
life.
No, are you kidding me?
I know,
Did you
that's
want
good.
children?
Carrie, how many do you have?
Yeah, we did, but my wife, shortly after we got married, developed chronic Lyme disease. Very bad.
Oh, and you can't have a baby with Lyme
Well,
disease?
I mean, she had it for 7 years. There were times where she couldn't even get out of bed.
Fucking horrible.
wow.
That fucking whole.
I mean, I
that's
can't. We
horrible.
spent tens of thousands of dollars.
How is she now?
She has stuff that will be with her permanently, aches and pains, and but you know she reached a point. She was misdiagnosed where she lost sight in one of her eyes.
Forever?
No, it came
Oh.
back. They
Wow.
figured out what it was.
Yeah, I have Lyme antibodies, but
Yeah.
apparently I must have gotten it when I was a kid and my body fought it off. But it's still, you could tell you have it because your body hurts all the fucking
You
time.
ache all the time.
All the time.
Oh, that's like
But-
chronic pain.
But not
horrible.
all the time, but it goes away. But Lyme disease is so dangerous. People don't get how. If your
No.
kid ever gets bit by a tick, you got to go immediately on an antibiotic for 30 fucking days.
And you got to check them.
I
You
just
gotta
turned-
check
I
them when
got
they come in
sciatica
and
now.
out
That's
of the
my new
house.
thing. My
What's
back,
sciatica? What
Back.
is that?
You know what sciatica is? Really don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
had
bad
that.
for
Is
your
it-
lower
yeah,
back.
Yeah. You need to get your discs.
Fused.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
had
that's
that
it.
on my
Tomorrow
neck.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, go get it
believe me.
fused.
No, it's brutal.
My
I turned
husband
50.
can do it for you.
I went to the gym. Within a week later, all of a sudden my back broke down. Like it's almost like it's like perfect. It's like I
Because your
wrote the
body
story.
wasn't ready.
No,
and
what happened was I have a herniated disc and it fixed the nerve. The nerve. Do you know anything about it?
I do because this happened to my
Does
neck.
the pain
see
go
it-
down the leg?
Down the
Oh,
leg,
yeah, it
around the
can
thigh,
knock you
around the
right
knee.
I have
Debilitating.
it so bad.
But it's really weird because I could actually lift you up right now with one hand. It wouldn't bother me. Tie my left shoe, I could cry like a 3-year-old.
Really?
It's the angle. It's just brutal.
You
but
can get
when it flares up, forget it. I can't even walk.
I've been. I seen a chiropractor. I stopped that. Now I'm going to be seeking. I'm doing pain management. I'm doing like 8 Aleve a day.
You
and
know,
I'm-
losing
Oh, my
weight
God.
too helps because
Thanks, mother-in-law, and you're wrong. My
Mother-in-law.
mother-in-law was dying to death. She goes, you know the weight. I go, I used to be like
No
400 pounds. I
way.
never had a back pain in my life.
No, but the
I
weight
love
As
when
you
they
get
say that.
older, as
No,
you get
well,
older.
first of
The
all, the
weight
truth.
does
The,
put-
yeah, no,
The
that's
weight
not the
does-
reason for it.
That's not the reason for it.
But now
it
listen,
does-
if I lost 60 pounds, right, just to say I lost
getting
60
ugly.
pounds, right? So now if I wake up in the morning, if you actually handed me another 60 pounds, I would really, just to take, of course.
Right!
Any pain. But I'm saying is that
Don't
I know
defend
that
yourself.
there have been people in my life that want to just throw it right onto
Well,
the
no, but
weight.
when
It has
I'm
nothing
when
to
I'm
do with
20
the weight.
pounds lighter, I
You-
know my back isn't that much stress.
But your back isn't hurting because you're.
No, I know that.
That's
But when
my
you
point.
look at like
Yeah.
Jeff Parami, not to bring him up,
He's
but
got a million
Big
problems,
fat
though.
bad
He's
knees.
got
When you
gout,
have-
yeah.
when you have bad knees, it's
What do
because
you
you're
mean?
too
No,
heavy.
why do you mention somebody's name and say not to bring him up?
Yeah, not to bring him up.
I've never heard of anything.
Because
I
I,
know.
don't want you to think that
That is so Jewish.
You're not,
Not
but
to-
I'm not Jewish.
Not
I'm
to bring
Irish.
him up, big
Problem.
fat rat bastard, Jeff Parami.
No, but there are certain people who they got bad knees. It's like you gotta, if you've got
Yes.
bad knees, you gotta lose weight.
You see the skinniest of people, they're 110 pounds, and they have like a back problem. They're like,
Yeah,
how do
but
they have a back problem?
You
It's
have
incredible.
to. You have to see the humor in what your mother-in-law said to you.
Well-
She wouldn't even address the problem. She goes, you know.
I
the-
knew,
the
and,
way-
and I love
Right,
my mother.
like
When I
Ralph
joke about her in my
Cramden's
act,
mother.
You know
I
the
just knew
way-
she was dying to sit because what
You
it
know
is
the
is
way-
no, because the truth is
that what she
no,
said?
because here's the truth. I used to be really, really heavy. I mean, like Parami heavy, right? And I love you, Jeff. if
Not
you
to
want.
bring him up.
No, not to
He's
bring
not
up
here
Jeff
to
Parami.
defend himself.
Not-
No, but
to
then
bring
I
up
lost
Jeff
a
Fat
lot of
Bastard
weight,
Parami.
and I really looked almost normal. Now I've gained back a good chunk. And people are starting to get worried. They think I'm going to be over 300 pounds again. So when I really said that I have serious back pain, I knew the close people in my life were going, see, it's the weight. Not the weight. Believe me.
The weight doesn't add; it makes it worse.
Doesn't help, Carrie.
Doesn't
but
help,
it's
right,
not the
I know.
reason it
No, it's
happened.
not the reason.
But
Because
I
skinny
do
people
feel,
have bad back.
I don't
course.
know that it's the reason it happens, but I do believe if you do drop the weight,
Oh, well,
that
help.
that would get better.
Without a doubt.
I,
No doubt.
I believe the
No
opposite.
doubt.
I
What do
think
you
you
believe?
should gain more weight.
Thank you.
And then you will become immobile, and you don't have to worry
That
about
is
your
why
back.
you two are good friends.
I bet
I
everybody's
love
seen him in
you
Tommy
three are
Gooch,
such. You
Gooch.
three are so interesting to me because I knew so much about you before I met you, and it was from Vic. I knew all three of you were like unicorns. Like I never.
Now,
never,
Vic DiBitetto?
I never worked with any of you, but you were all brought up in a wonderful way, and then I met you all. Boom, the roast.
Oh yeah.
I met Carrie later. I knew a lot more Carrie, and then I ended up doing. Do you remember the first time you met me?
No.
We did a gig in New Hyde Park.
You
You walked
did?
in with like some bodyguard or something like that, some guy.
One of your boyfriends, probably.
Look, I always have an entourage.
Yes, that's
whether
who it
it's
was.
Tugboat Manny
Well, Tugboat
or
Manny.
somebody.
the
Yes.
guy with the tattoos, Frank or whatever
Yes.
his name was.
But now I hang out with comedians, and I
Yes.
try to
But
help
she
them.
doesn't travel alone.
I
Carrie.
travel.
She's always with
Well,
people.
today I came in alone, but I usually bring a comedian because I want to get them stage time. I want to help them. Before I used to travel with the big bustle biker.
That's who I'm
the
thinking. That's who it
biker
was,
muscle.
yeah.
Yeah, what was
Yeah,
that? What was
that
that guy's name? J.J. Ramirez.
Fred.
JJ Ramirez.
Was that
I'm going to be
JJ?
with him on
Said
Friday. I'm going to work with him on
I don't
Friday.
date dwarfs.
I wonder if he won't wear shorts. Did you ever do a city spot with JJ Ramirez in the middle of July and walks in with shorts and Puma sneakers?
It's unbelievable.
I'm like,
And he's always
JJ,
trying
how?
Weird
somebody.
haircut now.
Wow.
No, he gets hair extensions. I think is that what?
Yeah,
it is?
but it's weird. He's got a long hair.
I
He's
think
got
he-
a mullet.
He straightens it.
Yeah, and it's a mullet.
He's
cut.
got
It's like-
kinky hair.
Well,
He's
actually, you know
gotta
what's funny?
cut
On
the fucking
Facebook this
hair.
week has been like old headshots people have been posting. I want to say Jay should just post his current one because he still uses the one off the comic strip wall, the black and white wall.
Right, he sends that out to agents.
He had too much, what do you call it, when you get airbrushing? Here's the deal with you guys when you get old, you men. Fucking just accept it. Stop airbrushing your shit.
I have accepted
and
it.
doing
I accept
weird
it.
shit.
I do. That's it.
Stop. If you've got kinky hair is sexy on a man.
Well,
Why are you
I don't know
straightening
how
your hair?
sexy it is, Patty.
Well, I think kinky hair is nice
It's
on a
okay.
man.
I don't know.
Curly.
Yeah.
Why do you have to have straight hair?
Look,
And if
the
you-
bottom line is
Anyway.
True,
you're
food,
getting
right.
old. Deal with it. I mean,
Embrace
you
it. I do.
Embrace it. But there are
Absolutely.
people
Totally.
that have
Tom.
never made your
The
age.
truth. I even say
Yeah,
to my
Tom.
one of my jokes, I go, I get dressed. I go, I just want to look acceptable. I don't even try to look good.
Embrace your age and weight.
Yes.
Brace your weight on your back. That's breaking your back.
In fact,
I love
get a
Carrie.
brace for your weight and your back.
Wait, I have something that I remember about you, Goumba, is that did you have a DeLorean car? What was that white car you had?
Corvette.
Oh, it was a Corvette.
Yeah, it was
But
a Corvette.
Opened,
I remember
It
a
opened like a
DeLorean.
butterfly. Like
It
it
had
would
those
open in
doors
the
that
middle,
opened up?
like
No.
on the Las Vegas stage. Like you fucking open it, and then he'd come out like the Venus and the clamshell or whatever. And he's all like big, like
I had-
Oh, you had
gigantic-
T-roofs.
and you had a mullet back then, right?
You had a
I had a mullet back in the day.
You did.
I did,
And
but
the
it was a Guido mullet.
Yes.
It was
a queen.
short on the sides.
That's
and long
exactly
in the
what.
back.
And it's
Oh, I
so
used to
funny
have that.
because
Oh, I love that.
I lived in an Italian neighborhood, and
Yeah.
I did a gig with you at Rascals, and you picked me up in the car, and all these people in my neighborhood that would like be hanging out, all the Italians, they're like, "Who was that guy? Like, who was that guy in that white car?
Yeah.
That big muscular guy? Who is
was that
guy?"
Italian guy?
Yeah, that's what everybody was like. I was like the queen shit of
What?
the street because you showed up, and I got in a car that opened up like
Right,
wings, like I was a fucking movie star.
like Liza Minnelli in Arthur when he pulls up with the Rolls Royce, and she goes, "Bitterman, can you just, pull up, wait here a few minutes so my neighbors could see me?" And he goes, "All right." He goes, "Oh, here comes Mrs. Whatever," and he goes, "Wait. Don't get out of the car." He goes, "Mrs. Desmond, whatever, deserves the full treatment." And he gets
I
out.
can't believe you.
It was the
That's my
full treatment.
favorite
He
movie.
like hops out, like he jumps out of the car, like the door doesn't open, like you jump out of the top, and you got to climb in. Like it was so over the top
It's like
Italian.
a Fonzie move.
And then
Wow.
I love this was so Italian about you too. This is funny. So we're going to Rascals or whatever, going through the toll booth, toll booth. And I open my purse because, he's driving me. I'm going to pay the tolls in the. So I go, "Here, I want to give you."
Did he
He
take
goes,
the money?
"What do you think?" He's Italian. He goes, "Don't insult me."
Me,
I
yeah.
love when
Oh,
Italian
yeah,
men go,
no,
"Don't insult me. Don't even insult," because it's such a thing against their
Yeah.
manhood if you try and give an Italian money. They're like, "Don't insult me," and you know what? I fucking love that. I love when a man
Without
won't
a
take
doubt.
money from
I
me.
never take a toll when
Right.
people
You don't
drive
like
with
the
me.
Irish guy that
Never.
goes, "Before you get in, can I get the money for the tolls?"
I
And
never.
Wait,
take a
my
toll.
fiance is very generous. He's
Patty,
never asked me for money.
when I was on the radio, we're talking about New Rochelle. I lived in New Rochelle. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment. I was by myself, and it was nice. It overlooked the
well, it's
water.
a beautiful area.
Yeah, it was right on the water. It
Except
overlooked.
don't stop at a red light.
No, I was on the shore road.
Harry.
So I went on a date with a girl, and she just looked at me. She goes, I don't even. She goes, "I don't know if you realize what a Guido you are." So I said, I don't. What you mean, like the Goumba Johnny thing on the radio? I said that's kind of like a little bit of a comedy act. I said, I went to college. I have 2 degrees. She goes, "John, you live in 3 rooms and you have 3 cars. You got a Corvette, a truck, and a 350 ZX." She goes, "What's more Guido than that?" And she goes, "Stop picking me up in the vet. I can't stand getting in and out of it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what a I said, she goes, "Could you bring the truck, please?" And I'm like, "Oh."
Did you get a lot of ass when you were on the radio?
You know what?
Were you a ladies' man, do you think?
Yes, he was. Because
I-
he was good looking. He had the cars. He had the body.
no,
you were
I
on the
think-
radio.
no.
You were a celebrity. You would go to.
Well, the
you were
radio-
at the clubs. You were at all the clubs. Go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Rum Bottoms, we got Goumba Johnny," or whatever club. I'm just saying, Infinities tonight, Goumba Johnny.
I had some fans. I mean, it was what it was. I mean,
You got a lot of tail.
Hey, anybody who works in any kind of position, whether you're on TV or the radio, especially when you're on the radio for like I was, like 17.
They feel like they know you.
17 years. I had stalkers,
Girls or men?
both.
What do the
Yeah,
men
that's
stalkers
creepy.
want from you? Sex? Or you
ass.
mean they're like
I had one.
be in love with you?
One couple that worked in tandem. as a man and woman.
And what do you mean? They would in tandemly?
I don't want to go into it.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
Well, because
exactly.
it got legal.
You have an order of protection restraining order?
Well, yeah, no, it got worse than that. But but anybody who's been on the radio for any period of time, like I would have one woman would send me flowers every month. Another woman would send
and then you'd give them to your girlfriend.
No, no. One woman.
Did you acknowledge it? Do you go thank you, or you just go?
You don't want to. You don't want to encourage people.
No,
Another
then
woman
they think they're getting through.
Who send me shirts.
Yeah, that's their touch to fame. That's their touch with fame.
She wanted to. She apparently she had this thing for flannel shirts, so like every other month I would get like a new flannel shirt. And what was odd was I used to talk about food a lot on the radio. And people would send me food.
You wouldn't eat it though, would you?
Oh God, no.
They could be poisoning you.
Yes, I mean, people call me up. How are your cookies? I'm looking at them in the garbage. They're delicious.
They're like, are you people dumb?
No, you don't want to hurt people's
No,
feelings.
but I mean, would you eat somebody just?
Yeah.
Can I tell you
Jeff
something?
Barani
Here's what I'm going to show you. Okay, today I got this text right here. This is crazy. Bumblebee tuna fish recalls all the tuna fish because after 2 employees admit cooking a man and mixing it into the tuna.
Wait, that's not a real story.
It's a real
Where'd you
breaking
get that
news
from?
story.
Is
It's a
that
breaking news story?
okay? But you're getting that from
Wait,
Facebook.
what is it? What is
That's
it?
a
Cooking
Facebook
what?
story.
I missed those.
Is that the Onion?
2 guys were accidentally fell into a tuna
They
fish
killed
can.
the guy, and then they chopped him up and put him in your
Yeah.
tuna fish. And I knew that's why I don't eat
You
bumblebee.
always hear weird stories like that.
I don't know if I believe
There's so
that.
many.
It's just more
Look at
protein.
Breaking news from whatever.
It's
If
all
it's
protein.
cooked, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
If you cook it, no.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
You know what I want to say to you though about Tommy Gooch, about your
Please.
son who is so
Yes,
cute.
thank you.
My favorite videos are you and your son dancing to Elvis.
Well, my son
He's
dancing to
like,
Elvis.
yeah, okay, you don't dance to
Yeah.
Elvis.
He's
but
got a bad back.
that's true. But your kid can do all the moves. and
He's
does all the
unbelievable.
shit.
People think I taught him. It's organic. It's the most unbelievable thing. That's his middle name too.
Because that you're I was gonna
Organic?
say, because you are so into Elvis.
Yeah, yeah.
And now your kid's into it's like
He's
in
a
your
ham
DNA.
and a half. He's
But wait,
unbelievable.
I have a question about Elvis though, because I always wonder about this with Elvis fans. I just watched. Did you see the Elvis thing on HBO?
Search. I watched. Yeah,
Yeah, it was good, right? So my
Didn't
question.
learn anything new, really.
No,
but-
it's like the same. They have
He's
like
been
18.
dead, so
and they
long.
have the same thing that comes
Yeah.
up every. But how come nobody cares about the fact that his wife was 14 when he met? Like, does anybody care? He's
Yeah,
kind
but wait
of
a
a
minute.
pedophile.
I'm
a
sure
little
we
bit?
don't want to waste time. If Elvis did a million bad things in his life, the way he courted her was in the most respectful, diplomatic way. In those days, like he went on the date, he brought his father to the house.
But let me ask you this.
That was long after Jerry Lee Lewis married his
Priscilla-
cousin.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Priscilla's father was a colonel, so it was done. Believe me when I tell you, like. This wasn't like he was banging her at 14 and then believe me, he met her
This
in
wasn't Jerry Lee Lewis.
He met her in
married his
1960.
10-year-old.
They didn't get married until 67.
Yeah, but she said in her book, she said that she slept with him and she would try to, she said we would kiss and do whatever in bed, but he wouldn't have intercourse with
Okay.
me. But she's 14. He's
But
been,
no,
in,
who's
the,
I don't
he's
know.
been in the army or
Does
whatever.
it actually
was
say she was 14 if she
yes,
was?
she was 14 when she met him. And then when she went to his house,
Well,
she
back
was...
then you were a lot older at 14.
And the father gave her to him. So
Yeah.
she was either 15 or 16 when she went to his house. But, isn't that, would you date
Well,
a
look,
14-year-old?
I think but the times are different because 14 back then, I was hanging out in nightclubs, dance clubs at 14.
I
Because
heard.
the drinking law was 18.
I heard.
I was at Uncle Sam's grand opening.
My father tried to
I
give me
wish
the
I
monks.
knew you guys in the day like to talk. I didn't realize this was that deep. The tenure.
What do you mean?
But that you knew each other's stories from so long ago. I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I know.
so jealous.
I know
I'm
Gooba
jealous.
From a million
Yeah.
years ago.
When I met these two, I wasn't doing comedy. I was managing a comedy club.
That's
Really?
right.
I had no desire to get on stage. And then one day, comedians, which were picking up from the city, got stuck in traffic. And they made me get up on stage because people were starting to leave. And
What made you leave the radio?
I didn't want to do it anymore. I felt like if I wanted to do more stand-up. I felt like I came in every day and I read 6 to 7 commercials. I had like a lot of money in endorsements. Oddly enough, I should have been my career should have been declining after 16 years, but it was actually I was actually at the height of my career.
Because you were great.
And
But were you burnt
thank you.
out, or what were you?
No, I just said I wasn't burnt out.
What time?
I just wanted to try acting, and I wanted to do more stand-up, and I felt like if I stay in radio, I'm just going to fade into the sunset, and this is all I'll ever do.
Like Howard.
And are you happy that you're not doing the radio anymore? Or did you want to go back to radio?
You know what? I mean,
Who, Howard Stern?
Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I would go back to the radio under the right circumstances. I mean, it was a lot of fun, but I've been out of it for like 6 years or so now, and
It's a burnout job.
You know,
I mean, as far as
did
sleep
a week.
goes.
I did a week radio at 4 a.m. I had to be there by 5, and
Right.
I tell you, I did 1 week, and I was like, okay, I hope I don't get this job. My husband's like, I hope you get it. I hope you get it. And I was praying to God, please.
well, it's a different.
I hope I don't get this job.
It's a different kind of humor. I mean, I used to have all the comedians on my show, and one thing, every comedian has a good half hour, has a good hour, so on and so forth. But a lot of comedians have failed in radio. Paul Rodriguez, Whoopi Goldberg, George Lopez, Sinbad. These are all major stars.
And why do you think they failed
Well,
in
You gotta
radio?
keep going.
Well, because, like
the
I
audience,
said,
Can you
They-
scooch over this way
Yeah.
because I can't see you over camera?
no, like I.
Oh, no,
feedback.
you're good there, but I just need him over there. 'Cause
The
I'm
problem,
twisting my neck.
not the problem. The difference between radio and doing stand-up is you don't have the time to fish for laughs. In other words, you have to be funny in 30 seconds, 60 second, 90
So
second.
you're quick
bit.
on your feet, you're saying.
Yeah, and you have to have a beginning and a middle and an end, and you have to speak graphically. And a lot of comedians, once they exhaust their act, then they're left with their personalities. And when you're on 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 20 hours a week,
You run out of.
well, it's not that you run out. Who you are will show up.
Oh, I see.
People will see you for who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And especially in the Whoopi Goldberg thing, she took over my morning show and they switched me to the afternoons.
And did you like that you were in the afternoons?
I eventually I did because it was like being semi-retired.
Oh, did you feel like they kind of
No.
fucked you by putting you in the
Well,
afternoon?
yes, they did. But I mean, they gave her a large amount of money in a 3-year contract, and she was fired after 18 months.
And then did they want you to go back to your morning?
There was talk of that, but we chose to stay in the afternoon. But
Afternoon is so much better. You could sleep all
I know, I
night.
like
2
afternoon.
to 6. I mean,
Perfect.
wake
That's-
up,
that's
wake
perfect.
up, work out, go to work, come home, have dinner. I mean, the mornings, we're totally different schedule. And, people asked me, how do you think she's going to do? And I said, I think she's going to have problems. And they go, why? Why do you say that? Like they thought I was jealous of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I never got her.
And I said that has nothing to do with it. I said she doesn't have the type of voice that people want to wake up in the morning, and it's that simple. I said she has like a very raspy, not a. She just doesn't have the sound that people want to wake up with. And I said I think it's as simple as that, and a lot of people don't understand. Part of Howard Stern's success is he has a beautiful voice. He has
He
this,
actually
He's got
does
a
have a
great
good voice.
voice.
he has this.
Well,
He
he's got
has
that-
this.
So does Robin.
Yeah, he has a melodic,
Yeah.
very very soothing,
Yes, tell me, Robin.
yeah,
Yeah.
not irritating voice
Right.
that
Deep.
that
Oh,
that
there's no
will
doubt.
that
There's no
it's
doubt
almost
that helps.
almost hypnotizing after you hear him for a certain point because he gets you into like a certain mode.
Yeah.
And a lot of his success I think has to do with the fact that he has a tremendous voice. And
Were you up against him with ratings and numbers? Did you
well,
have to-
for a period of time in the mornings, yes, but then everything switched. I mean, when I first got into radio in the mornings, it was so competitive. There was not only Howard Stern, there was Imus, there was Curtis and Kuby, there was
Oh, yeah,
Starr and
Curtis and
Buck
Kuby.
Wild, there was Elvis Duran, there was Scott Shannon.
Oh yes, Shannon in the mornings.
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
there was at one time there was Danny Bonaducci. There was
Oh my
Jim-
God, that
yeah.
that mental
There
patient.
was Jim Kerr.
Holy shit, that guy tried to kill
Well, there's
himself,
a
didn't he?
song-
On
I
a-
don't know,
But yeah.
but I'm
He
just
was
saying,
out of
it
his
was it was very different.
Danielle McKenna.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Daniel McKenna.
That's
All right.
that's Danny
That's Danny
McKenna.
McKenna.
He said Danielle. I love that.
That's Danny
That's my
from.
glasses. It says Johnny and me and you radio, Goomba and Mac money. I don't know what that means.
What's Mac?
That's him. He's Mac. He calls himself Mac.
Oh, he calls himself Mac? Okay.
Yeah.
Me and you radio. Oh, you and him radio means a lot of money. He wants to get a radio show with you.
Oh.
And Danny McKenna.
Yes.
Okay, he's
We love
offering
Danny
you
McKenna.
right here on this show.
I want to shout a couple of shout outs to people who
Okay,
are writing us.
please.
Like Pamela Florentino says hello. It's Pamela. Palma. Why do I
You want my glasses?
Palma Florentino.
Okay.
And Joe Magaga.
I love Joe Magaha. Wait, and not when we say Joe Magaha, we always have to mention Brian Play-Doh is also. Those are our two
Brian.
biggest
These
fans.
are our fans. The
These
only
are our
two
fans.
fans we have.
They're here every week, our two fans. Susan Jeremy, who else? Tom and Jenyo is watching.
Oh,
Yeah. Tom and Jenya wants to come on the show.
I have to say, this is a really. I want to thank you for having me here. I couldn't have picked a better way to end my career.
You're such a dick. I could have.
And you, Tom, to be here.
Yeah, well, I asked you.
Anna Drakadopoulos. That sounds like one of your friends.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
this
that's
moment with
Anna
me.
Drac. Susan Jeremy. She said,
Nick Laurie Smith likes Tommy. Tommy, who's
Nick
everyone's
Laurie
calling
Smith.
you Tommy Gooch. Everybody's
Nick Laurie
saying, what's up
Smith.
to Gooch?
I always say about Carrie. I said, remember I tell you, I said, Carrie, every time I would see Carrie would always tell me somebody she knew liked me. And I'm like, Carrie, do you like me at all? Remember I always tell you that? She'd be like, James from the brokerage thinks you're a great guy. And I'm like, I'll see you the next time. She'd be like, Patty Russborough loves you. So, can I get to know you now, Carrie? Like, it's just, no? All right.
Oh, we worked together at the Borgata, right?
Yes.
and Carlos
That was
watching.
fun, wasn't it?
What a shame you're only on one show. Why were you only on one show?
Because
That's so funny.
I can't do more than 1 or 2 nights in a casino.
You told me that. Okay.
Why?
Oh, because she's got a big problem. You know.
Gambling? No way. I would have never guessed that. You can't stop? Oh,
Nope.
slots?
Really?
Everything.
You
Yeah.
want to laugh? Can I tell you
Slots,
something?
craps,
loses.
21,
She
3-card
loses.
poker, Texas Hold'em.
You ever win?
I do once
She
in a while.
wins, but then
You know,
loses right
when
after.
you win, unless you win
wanna laugh?
$100 million,
I can tell you
you're not
something.
going to be a winner.
I want
You're a
to-
gambler, right?
No,
Tom?
I'm a casual. Let me tell you something, and this is the
Sorry.
God. When they say the God's honest truth,
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Okay, I've been playing the Borgata. Let's just say I played it 15 times. This is we're going 10 times. Every time I've played it, I have never gambled a cent. Oh, Gooch, you're full
Go
of shit.
fuck
No,
yourself.
I swear to God, because I just first of
You're
all,
losing that money for your kid.
not fuck my kid. I'm talking about like. Let me ask you a question. First of all, you like being out there in the open?
But what if you met a hooker and she was all over you and she's like, come on, let's play a little crap.
Well, hold on, let me see if my wife's watching first, and I'll give you. No, listen to me. First of all, you like that like that people see you, that they just saw you. Like I love walking
Nobody
out.
sees you.
I don't care if anyone
Nobody sees you.
sees me.
The people that go, listen, I worked Vegas every other month.
Okay.
And when they leave the show, they leave the casino. Occasionally, I would get, "Oh my God, you were great! The
Yeah,
comedian,
yeah.
you were
Yeah,
great!"
okay,
I'm like,
in the
"Oh, shut the
elevator, I
fuck
know.
up! I'm gambling." You know,
See, I
or
just
once in a
don't
while,
wanna-
I would see them because I was at the.
I just have that mindset. I just have
I'd be
no
there
interest
all
in gambling.
week
You'd be
at
like,
the
"What do you
trop.
do all day?" Well, maybe my wife comes with the kid, but I just can't gamble. I don't know.
I don't gamble either. I did it with Chris Monty. I lost $20 with him, and then and I thought,
Okay, well,
fucking
you guys have
$20
never
is
done heroin either, so I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
gambler. He gambles everything, and if you have a number, or you're talking about something, like something happens with a number, he goes, "What was the number on that again?" And I know he's going to play that
Does
number.
he win?
He's like crazy. Every once in a while, he wins. Like he'll win $5,000 every 4 or 5 years, and then he
so
goes.
then he spent that.
and
at
then he
least
spent.
then
That's
some.
what I say. I go. How much do you think you've made? He goes, probably about 10 grand. I go, how much have you lost?
Probably
he
about
goes,
30.
Probably about 15 or 20. And then I go, well, so that's not good. He goes, yeah, but all I need is one good hit, and I'm up again.
Because you always
That's
think,
how they think.
You always think that one good hit's coming.
That's
but
what he
anyway,
thinks.
we got to wrap this up because I have a Dangerfield spot.
Wait, I got a question though. I forgot to
Well,
ask
hurry
this.
it up.
Michelle Wolf, did you like her on the thing and didn't
I'm
like
gonna ask
her?
one question: was Michelle Wolf hired to roast or do comedy? Was she hired to roast?
What do you think, guys?
You're asking me?
Yeah, well, I figured,
Did you
what
see
do you
the?
know?
Did you see the Michelle?
Yeah, I saw
White
it.
House.
If she was
correspondent?
hired to
I don't-
roast,
I
then
don't
she did
think,
a great job.
I don't even think Michelle Wolf is the issue.
What's the
This
problem?
is,
Well,
this is nothing more than what we've been seeing all the time. It's the Democrats versus the Republicans.
Did you think it was funny?
I couldn't relate to half the jokes. I didn't understand some of the correlations.
Well,
I didn't know these people.
I will say this.
Who wrote her material?
I've worked with her before at Stand Up New York, and I've always admired her writing. She's an
She's a
excellent.
writer
So she
herself.
wrote it.
She
She
writes
wrote
for
it.
Do you
Fallon,
think she
right?
wrote it?
No, she's an excellent writer.
Okay.
She's
I thought she was great.
I thought she
Yeah.
was great too.
No, she's known
I
The
thought
for
she
delivery was
killed it.
good. Yeah, I mean, she had the
Listen,
voice, the delivery. Yeah.
Not only that,
She's known
you
for
Went
it.
getting
after
up.
the Democrats, though. Go ahead.
She went after everybody, but I think she was great because you got to stand up in front of those
For 20 minutes.
no expression faces, and those people are so fucking uptight.
You're screwed either way because
So go down the way you want to
Well,
go
here's-
down.
because the
Here-
Republicans don't like her, and she goes after
Wow.
the Democrats. Going.
Here's the problem.
ahead.
You're going to have an act like that, like her, and she's obviously her politics were very obvious. So, I'm looking at it saying I could understand. And I
You
get,
like Trump. You like Trump.
Well,
so-
I don't. I'm a registered independent, and I didn't vote in the last election.
Okay.
All right, but I will say this: if you're going to have Michelle Wolf on or a comedian like her, who is going to handle it like that, why don't you have her followed up or have Nick DiPaolo on?
I was going to say have Nick DiPaolo
Have
next
Nick
year.
DiPaolo on
Next year.
and
Go
then,
the other
and
way.
then nobody could say anything. Have one person from
Have
each
Well,
side.
I think they still would have said something because nobody wanted to be picked on. Did you see that
Well,
woman's face? She was miserable. That was a roast.
That was my question,
that was-
Carrie.
There's
If
no-
it was a roast, then
there's-
she did nothing wrong.
Tom, remember this: when it's a roast, the word roast isn't in the title.
So it wasn't. Okay.
But
It
so
wasn't
in
no,
my
I'm
book.
saying to
Yeah.
me that was a
No.
roast, but maybe it wasn't a roast. They should have specified to her and said, "We want you to do stand-up comedy. We don't want you roasting people." They should have given her guidelines. but for
Well,
what
he said
she
it's right.
did,
Imagine 15 minutes of the other side. That would have been.
I think she
But
did great.
Seth Meyers did the year before, right? And I thought he did a lot of roasty type jokes. Like a
Well,
lot of those
I
guys
mean,
did.
what about the? I forgot the guy's
Seth
name.
MacFarlane did
the guy,
it one year.
No, the guy.
the guy with the ear, the funny ear?
No, the black gentleman that used the N-word at the
Oh,
Obama
that
one.
one! I thought that one was terrible.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean,
thought his was the most
this,
unfunny. And why did he
well,
say the N word?
well,
Like it was
well,
embarrassing.
Let's go
But
back.
he's a liberal, and I didn't like him.
This particular event has a history of controversy,
Yes.
and one thing I will say, what you may think about Michelle Wolf, good, bad, or indifferent,
I liked it.
everybody knows who she is today.
That's right.
and
Yeah.
she did the right thing.
I looked at that girl and I thought of myself, like I thought this girl has a lot of balls, and she would do a joke that wouldn't get a laugh. Like one of my favorite jokes, she goes, Trump looked for foreign oil in Eric's hair or something like that, like dead silence. And then she does the next one. She didn't bail. She
Maybe
does
just
the
the
next
No,
one.
and then she was like,
You give her
okay.
the abortion
but
one,
you know what
maybe,
was
like,
funny?
what-
And then she was
Well,
like,
she has no
okay.
choice.
And her voice was great. Everyone didn't like her voice, but I thought she's very comedic.
that's
She's
the
very
voice you
funny.
need for that.
She's got a great look.
Yeah.
She did the job. She did
And the
it
thing
right.
is, she went after what's her name?
Sarah
Huckabee Sanders. Now, Sarah Huckabee.
Now, if Sarah Huckabee Sanders would have smiled, it wouldn't have been so bad.
I think if she
was
had
so
just
pissed.
laughed and
Yeah.
said, "Who gives a shit?"
Yeah.
She didn't say
It was
you
very
were-
personal.
She didn't say you were ugly.
No, Patty.
She said you're a liar.
Patty.
That was different.
Patty.
Go ahead.
Patty.
What?
I thought that.
What did you think? Did you think she went after her looks?
I'll just go by my emotions.
Okay,
I don't
what do you
think she
think?
went after her look.
I'll go by my emotions.
Okay, go ahead. What do
I
you think?
watched the whole thing,
Yes.
and I found myself feeling very sympathetic and very bad towards Sarah. I felt horrible for her.
Really?
She looked very uncomfortable.
She was uncomfortable, but is that
She
is
looked
that her fault?
uncomfortable.
She can't take a joke?
What, the way they made fun of
First of all,
Ruth,
she didn't-
Ruth
she didn't
Buzzy
make fun
30,
of her
40
looks.
years ago?
She
50
didn't
years
make
ago?
fun of her looks.
She made fun of her looks.
She did not. She
made
said,
fun of her
"You're
looks."
a liar," and with all the lies.
She
No,
made fun of her
Okay,
looks.
where did she make fun of her looks?
Mom,
And
When
what-
you say that somebody burns fat to make eyeshadow.
No, but what's
no,
the
no,
other? What's the
she
other correlation?
burns facts.
Oh,
Fat.
fat. Okay,
Burns
I thought it
facts,
was
so
fat.
she's-
No, not fat.
Shows how stupid I am.
No, but did she call her
She
mama?
burns the facts and uses the
And uses
charcoal
the
to
ash, the ash
to
from
make
the
the
lies.
smoky eye
She's
makeup.
calling her a liar.
I'm so embarrassed.
And then she said,
You should be.
but there's probably people
I gotta
who
go.
think the same. Wait, can we?
It sounded like
finish
fat.
just how what time is it?
8:45. I got.
You've got fucking 10 minutes. Wait a minute. So they said that she had a perfect smoky eye. So she's saying her smoky eye, the look of it was good.
I thought
But
she.
she
I
used
thought
it
the
from
word
all the
was.
facts that she burned.
I'm so
Oh, no, no,
embarrassed.
she referred to
I
her
thought
as
the
an
word
Uncle
was
Tom,
fat.
though.
not
No,
fat.
facts.
No?
Fact. She burns the facts. She's
No, but
such
did
a
she
liar.
I gotta
tell
get
Uncle
hearing
Tom for
aids.
something?
She did call her an Uncle Tom, which I think is true about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. When you see these women who do things that don't, that's why she said, "I loved you as Lydia, Aunt Lydia,
Yeah.
in The Handmaid's Tale." Okay, the woman who plays Aunt Lydia in The Handmaid's Tale is not the most beautiful woman, but she's not ugly, but she does look a lot like her. But I think the whole point was the woman who plays Aunt Lydia in The Handmaid's Tale takes these women in The Handmaid's Tale, she binds them, she makes them have babies with. So in other words, she's a woman that works against other women, and I think that was the point.
A lot of layers to that joke.
That's what I think she was saying.
I mean,
and so, wait, and the last thing
this
that I already
show
said
is
this.
over.
I already said this on Twitter. Okay, one word. Cosby's guilty. Any thoughts? Anybody love him as a kid? Anybody?
I
Anything?
think it's now sentencing, right?
I was never.
They're waiting for the sentencing.
I was never.
It's like it's got Joe Paterno. It's like the same thing. His legacy will be this, and meanwhile, his whole life was about entertainment and was beloved.
I was never a fan of his.
Yeah.
I was never a fan either when he's telling you can't say fuck, but he could roofie a girl and rape her.
It's
You know
terrible.
the thing
It's
is,
terrible.
as a kid,
Go to jail!
as a kid,
Have a good
I
set.
loved to wrestle with my brother with whom I slept. My mother bought us that album. I would play it over and over again. As a kid, I loved him. As I got older, I thought, this is an angry guy who's trying to be cute. Like he's going, blah, 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 you do all that.
Yeah.
But I felt his anger underneath it, and he wasn't is he leaving? Is he leaving? This thing's over. All right, we got to go.
Let me tell
She
you
doesn't
something.
understand. She's a nervous wreck when she has a gig.
Why don't they leave
And
me in
I
the
got to
show?
find parking and everything else. I got to.
You're not even allowed to go to the
And we
bathroom
still
on
have to
this
take
show.
a picture. And we still have to take
Okay,
a picture.
we're giving. Okay, where's everyone going to be this weekend? Anything to promote?
I'm
What about
not
you?
telling you
You
anything.
have a guinea show. What's your guinea show?
What do you mean, my guinea show?
I thought you have a thing called the Guineas or something, don't you?
The
Who are you
Goombas.
talking to?
I don't
The
know.
Goomba Guinea
Not to
Show, and I
mention
remember looking at it thinking, I can't believe he's calling himself a guinea.
That's not me.
It is you. I saw it on your Twitter page or something.
Okay, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at the comic strip on Friday night, 2 shows, 8 and 10 o'clock, and I'm going to be at Governor's on Saturday night. So if you're in Levittown on Saturday night, come to Governor's, or if you're
I'll
in
be
the
at
city on
Cove
Friday
Haven
night.
with JJ Ramirez. Wish me luck.
I'm
good
going to be.
luck.
Hope he doesn't grab your ass.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Thursday at the comic strip and Saturday in Florida, but you can't come.
Florida.
Oh, yeah, and Thursday night, I think I'm at McGuire's.
Adam from the thing. Thank you
you, Adam.
From the rec room.
The rec room. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Comic Strip Live.
Thank-
and
and
make
if
sure
you-
you subscribe
if
to
you-
our...
if you like the
This
show.
is why people hate podcasts.
Wait a minute. If you like the show, if you like the show, please subscribe and please give us
Don't.
a
Send
fabulous
money.
review.
Don't.
Send money.
Don't.
If you like either of these two, if you're
Don't.
Italian,
Don't.
if you're Italian, please
Good night.
subscribe.
Send money.
And thank
Good
you.
night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Johnny.
Goodbye.
And
Goodbye.
thank you,
Thank
Tommy.
you, Carrie.
Goodbye.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Pat.
I can't believe I
Adios.
was fat.